tools we use today. Safety glasses. Cutters only to cut the electrical tape, or a knife. Our little strap to hold the light. A Phillips screwdriver. A box cutter to open the box. Tester to make sure that the connection or the outlet was dead. You want to work on dead circuits. Of course, our gloves. And then of course our 6-foot ladder or a ladder to access the area. So here's our electrical box. And obviously you want to start with the power off. So in our case we discovered that breaker is off and you want to secure all your power. And then what I always do is check my breakers maybe at least a couple times a year. Wipe it out, you know, with a rag. Just wipe everything down. Make sure that everything's good. And then I take a can of the air duster here and then just squirt, clean all these connections out, and then just go along and just clean out. So that was the circuit that we were working on. So here we are. We're going to replace that motion light because it went out at about 20 years old. So we have our 6-foot ladder, and make sure it's steady. And then I bought this at Lowe's last night. This was 43 bucks, the $28 one. The cheap one they were out of. So that, and then we're going to put some new LED lights. Make sure you get the outdoor, rated for outdoor, and LEDs so they don't use up as much power. And we're going to go ahead and replace this light. 20 years old and it went out. So first things first is make sure the power's off, and the power circuit is off. So we're going to go ahead and unscrew that. It's a Phillips. And then take it out. So there's tools that we need. Phillips screwdriver. And go ahead and unscrew that. So what I did is I went ahead and removed these light shields. And then I moved everything out of the way, and then it's just... Okay, I don't quite unloosen it all the way. And then I've got a cable, just a wire to hold it because I don't want it to pull on my wire ends. And then when we take this out, I will unloosen the electric connections and let this hang. And then once it's free, I can remove my holding clamp here, my holding wire, and then the new one will just hold up temporarily, and then I'll hook up the electrical connections. And once the electrical connections are hooked up, I will still have my little cable on it, and then once I screw it in, then there's no need for my little cable to hold it. So this is an outside outlet box that I went ahead and installed. It's rated for outdoors because I've done this several times, because these just go, I mean these don't last forever. So here's what we're looking like, and just unscrews. Mine uses a Phillips. I don't know if you can see there. Different models use different ways they hook. But this is the standard fixture, outdoor rated. And then I have my bracket, and it's odd that they don't come with some of these screws, so I had to trim it to fit. And then you have a little gasket. So this is the old one. And then we'll just take it all out, loosen the electrical connections, and then hook up the new one. So it's hanging, but it's not pulling on my electrical connections, because I don't want to pull that out quite yet. So this is, I tightened it up so my little support is holding and then I will unscrew these electrical connections. Obviously make sure the power is off, black to black, white to white, and then we're going to hook up our ground. So yeah, that's an electrical box that I outdoor rated, and I put that up a while back. So outdoor rated, so easy to change this out. So yeah, I just want to make a note to have that hold temporarily so it's not dangling on your electrical wires. So what I like to do, there's our bare leads. I like to just check to make sure that outlet box is secure. I shake it, make sure the mounting tabs, mounting ears are set. Mounting ears are set. It may have been cracked or paint, I'm not sure what that's. Because yeah, unfortunately these tabs aren't very strong. These are just Home Depot quality. So these tabs sometimes break here. This looks solid. I sealed up all the plugged it all up. And yeah, this is solid here. So yeah, this is good, and then we will install. So this is the black, white, and obviously ground. Make sure, please turn off the power. Please respect electricity. You don't want to get burned. Don't want to get bit. So then we'll install the new one, and I put a center device here. We're going to see how the new one bolts up. So this is the new one, very similar to the old one. So I'm going to use my existing plate here. It comes with a plate. So obviously black, white, white. So this is how it comes. So it's very similar. However, though, I do not see a weather strip gasket. So I'm going to look and make sure it has a weather strip gasket. But I'm going to hold it up, tie it up, and then we'll tie it up with my little hook, and then we will work on the electrical. Okay, before we install it, I'm going to go ahead and put on the sensitivity or the distance on high. I'm going to put test and 1 minute. I'm glad they more easily define these, because on the old ones it was really hard to see. So because it's under the eaves, it's going to be in an awkward angle. So I just wanted to set these now, and then so I don't have to figure out which is which. So then the first one is 1 minute, 3 minutes, 10 minutes, however long you want the light on. I usually just like mine 1 minute, but we'll leave it on test, and then high. So it comes with this silver one here. I'm going to be using my existing plate, so I'm going to be using my old one here. But it comes with this and this new plate, and then it comes with new wire nuts. And I'm going to go ahead and use my existing wire nuts, and then it comes with a little button to cover the screw hole. But if you're not removing, if you can go ahead and use the new one, and of course the new stud. But in my case, I'm going to use the old one here, because I already installed the plate from a previous. But it's just whatever your installation has. And then I will still take this ground screw here. So there's the white. And I always twist it. I don't know if you can see there. I always twist it in the direction that I want to screw this on. And obviously this is more stiff than the light. So I always put it in the direction and then just screw it on. And then I'm going to tape that around. So I always put the direction of the twist the wire in the direction that I'm going to turn it. Pretty tight. You don't really have to horse down on it, but just enough to tighten it, and then I'm going to go ahead and wrap that with tape. But so as you can see here, wide shot. So this is just temporarily to hold my light, because I don't want to have to hold the light and then hold my wires at the same time. So this is, if you have a helper too, but that can work as well. But if you're on the ladder, if you don't have two ladders, I just find this is the easiest. I just have it dangling, and it's held, but it's not dangling on my wires. So just a little tip, I'm using the electrical Scotch 3M. You want to use the good quality tape, you don't want to use the cheapy stuff. So I always, obviously when I'm done at the end of the roll, just pull that over. So I pulled a few strands here, and then we're going to wrap each one. So here's it taped up, and then I just left a little bit taped over, so when I have to pull this out again I can just unravel it instead of taking my knife and cutting that out. Not a huge fan of using tape, but it is an outdoor wet application, and I make sure these are tight just so water doesn't get inside there. But I'm not a huge fan just because it leaves stickiness adhesive when you have to undo it. But there's my setup. And then the ground, it does not have a separate ground. Evidently grounds through the, this is all plastic, so there's no ground. So my box is grounded. So right there. So in this installation I'm using my old screw. And I'm pushing all the wires to one side because I don't want my screw to pinch them. So all the wires are going to be moved to up there, as you can see. And I'm still having it held my little strap there. And then I make sure when I screw this up that I'm not pinching any of those wires. So I've removed my little strap and I made sure the wires aren't pinching or they're coming over. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and screw that up, and I just want to make sure that there's no work all around. Make sure no wires are peeking out. This back one's a little bit, just want to make sure it's not pinching out. And so I'll push this up and then screw it in. Don't have to, just snug, because it's just plastic. So I only wish they had a gasket. Not too crazy about that, but it's snug. I don't see any wires peeking out. Yeah, the old one was metal and had a weather stripping. I'm not crazy about this one. It was $44 from Walls. The cheapy ones they were all out of, so yeah, I just reposition it and then we can just tighten it up. So with these, I'm going to like this angle, but these unloosen here to adjust that motion, and then of course this unloosens to whatever which way you want. So however which way you want it to point. So I'm going to go ahead and set this up the way I want it, and then we'll put our little guards on and then test it out. It was metal, and that was about 20 years ago. These are all plastic and cheap. I think the old one was $30 and this was $44, so go figure, huh? So I'm not too optimistic that's going to last 20 years. So okay, don't forget the little weather plug there. I didn't need, and the ground screw, because it's only plastic. I'm going to go ahead and save this and put it in my spare parts bin, but I didn't need all this hardware. You might, depending on your installation. I'm going to keep this for future projects, but here's this little plug here, and I'll show you where that goes. So right there. So it's just like a little decorative weather plug. So these, you'll see the dimples, and you just line it up here, and you line it up like that, and then these just, once it's all lined up, then they just twist into place, and then you may have to readjust this. You have to tighten that, but those are those are tight. Lights are fairly heavy. Obviously they're weather rated for outdoors. So I just obviously just, you know, screw in the light, and then I obviously turn it and push, put a little pressure on it so it catches. And then it doesn't have to be super, just enough. And then so this is our, okay. I repositioned this because the, well, I had it wrong. So I had it wrong. So this obviously this is this side down for the sensor, and we want to position this, and I had it backwards. So every one of these are different, but this is the correct way. And then this, but that's where we're at there, and I kind of like the way the lights are going to be shining, because we have a path here that's blocked by these trees, so that should shine that up fairly well. And you're going to want to retest this and readjust this at night. And then the other light we have for our back, this side of the house, which nobody should be here. There's no reason for anybody to be here. So I like that adjustment. I mean, I like the way that's positioned. And then, like I said, we're power, but I like that orientation. And then, of course, we can adjust this, and these are adjusted as well. It's the way I'm going to initially set it like that, and then when it gets dark, we will test it and then adjust it for coverage. Obviously, we are done with our project. We're going to turn it back on and test, but you always want to make sure your power is off. So we tested it, we turned the power back on, and then we moved that to the 1 minute position. So we tested it, so then liking these, and then we'll readjust it tonight when it gets dark. So that completes our project. Okay, let's test this out. Don't really see much. Obviously it's at night to test. And we're coming around the corner. There you go. Wow. So here's at night. It's almost like daylight. Those are real bright. It's about 9 o'clock at night, so there's our sensor, and I'll probably adjust it, because remember we adjusted it on high, and I'll probably just adjust it slightly less because I don't want it to go off with every car. But yeah, wow, those are bright. So here's the coverage. And it's just like daylight out here. So here's one side, and then of course that lights up this whole back side strip, which nobody should be back here. So, yeah, because nobody should be back here. So like I said, I love stadium lights and deter any creepos. Okay, good luck on your project.